up and sent it, gave it to New Franklin. Once that's all done, what role, if any, would you have after that in this case?
In this case, nothing else unless they requested more assistance. At this point in time, I was pretty much done.
All right, and that would be reflected in your report also?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anything from Attorney Laybourne?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep. Okay. Thanks.
Agent Soraya, my name is Jeff Laybourne. I represent Ms. Stefanko. I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay?
Yes, sir.
If you don't understand something I'm asking you, just ask me. Calling your attention to State's Exhibit number 82. You see that okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now that truck there, what would you call that?
I refer to it as a service truck. It has the bucket on the end for people to go up telephone poles or higher up.
Okay. Was that truck searched?
We would have gone through it looking for anything indicative of the case. Primarily, I believe we looked at it for staining, looking for any type of blood staining. As I recall, there were some wire ties, but there were a lot of tools in it as well. We looked it over and didn't find anything indicative of the blood staining and moved on.
Okay, so it was searched and it looked like it was just kind of cable equipment, correct?
Yes, sir.
And is there a logo on the side of that truck?
I believe there was. I have it noted in my report that it said Cobb Cable Company on it.
Okay. Mr. Laprinzi showed you various items of clothing, and I'm not going to ask you to take those out, other than to ask you. You said that the boots were a size 10M. You said?
I believe so. Looking at the labeling in the photo, without looking at them, I couldn't tell you for sure.
Would that be? Did those look like men's boots?
It could be.
Okay. I mean, is it a men's size? Should we pull them out? I mean,
men's and women's both go with the same number system.
Okay. Okay. Do you recall the size of the pants, camo pants?
I don't know if I notated that or not. No, I did not notice the size on that.
Okay. Did those look like men's pants to you?
Those were made by True Spec, which is a uniform manufacturer. On some of those, they really don't go with men's and women's sizes.
Okay.
They'll go with large, medium, as far as waist versus length, and that's about it.
I think we're probably going to have to pull those out then to take a look. Since you didn't note that, I'd want to see what size those are. So if we can look at Exhibit 112. Sure. Yeah. Can we approach?
Please.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, absolutely. So the parties are stipulating that both the boots that were at the scene as well as the pants were men's sizes. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. That'll save us some time. Okay. You testified about the these clothes and these boots that you found, did you find any clothing that you believed were smaller sized, like possibly for a woman?
Not that I recall.
So you didn't find camouflage jacket or pants in a smaller or a women's size, correct?
Not that I recall, no, sir.
You didn't find a pair of camouflage boots that were a smaller size, correct?
No, sir.
What I do want to get out, if we can, are the pair of black gloves with the knuckles, the hardened knuckles. And that was in Exhibit 113. Is that still up there? Yeah.
It's all just in the box. That could be it. No, that's the headphone. Here. Do you need a pair of gloves? I'll be good. Can you hold those gloves up for the jury, Agent? So you described those as maybe work gloves, like if you were a mechanic and you didn't want to wrench your knuckles, correct?
That's one of the reasons that they are made. Yes, sir. It's knuckle protection on the back.
Okay. Would another reason that those are made would be for some sort of combat situation?
A lot of the military wears them. The idea again being protecting your knuckles when you run into things, clearing a residence or anything like that.
Would you say that those could be a substitute for what we call brass knuckles?
Absolutely.
So if you were in a fist fight with someone, you could inflict more damage if you've got hardened knuckles?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you, Agent.
Okay. Anything from the state?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your testimony, sir. Have a nice afternoon. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Give your next witness.
Yes, we do, Your Honor. When you have a sidebar.
Yes.
Where's it?
Okay, we are going to take a 15-minute recess. The parties need to set up for the next witness. So it is now, let's see, 2:38. We'll start back up at 2:55. And just a reminder, as I know you all know so well, please don't talk about the case with anyone. Please don't research it. Please don't talk to each other. Thank you.
All right.
You're on the section. What time did you say that? I said 3:55, but I meant 2:55, I think.
We're about to leave for.
It is my understanding that the next witness does not want to be. That's correct, Your Honor. That's perfect. So I'll-
They're just gonna.
Should get that.
She emailed me back.
Can't do
that-
any time because I'm afraid.
Well, it's,
She's coming to one.
yes. No, I'm just saying that because.
Okay.
Mhm. Oh. Um.
Yeah.
Okay, so I cleared, but I cleared. I wonder if we have-
These should all.
Anyway, so he called me.
Here, over here.
Anyway, so he called me and the conversation starts off really normally. We're talking about. So anyway, so he called me and the conversation starts off really normally. We're talking.
Right. That was my baby. I lost him when he was arrested on my eyes. He was in bad shape. He's like, oh, year. 2 years in my because I lost my son. Oh. I know your daughter would come in. Well, my husband did not want to. Said, you guys finished heartbreak with my son. I said, well, unless I live up and I didn't live in a heartbreak. So, yeah. Yeah. To me, it was. It was a Jack's bed. My name's the short-bit Jack's. Yeah. And then stolen. I mean, I've always been for some of dogs. We were dog in the lives. Yeah. She was supposed to be having to come back as long as ago.
Really?
It was all done. Yes.
We're talking.
It's on there. We're calling right now.
All rise.
Okay, I think we have everyone go ahead and take a seat, and we have your next witness ready. Before we do that, I just want to go back on the record. State of Ohio versus Erica Stefanko. It's 2:59. I understand the next witness, there'll be some taped audio that's going to be shared. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and let me see. One of our, okay, we'll get the document. And the other issue is that you're not going to be playing the entire taping, correct?
That is correct. The state and the defense has discussed it. We're both going to play the portions now with the
witness we would like. However, we've stipulated that the entire recording, which is approximately 3 hours long, will go back to the jury.
Okay, so you're going to hear parts of it today, parts of it tomorrow, but not the entire 3 hours. However, when we give the case to you, you'll get the entire recording, okay? Okay, wonderful. If you want to call your next witness, and I understand she does not consent to being filmed or recorded, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and I do have her form.
Is the live, hold on, look,
Should be.
okay. Oh, it's still on. Tristan said if the screen looks like this, it's, oh, okay.
Good afternoon. If you could raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Go ahead and be seated.
The chair won't move until it's spin.
Hello?
Let's see.
Hello?
Tristan, can, okay, but can the other ones, I've got her camera off. Are the other ones on? Because Attorney Easter, your audio is connected to use.
Yes. What? I didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's just, you should be good, Judge.
So she'll be able to present it because I'm just getting the B in
She's just
court.
gonna have to open up the, that's the doc camera, so as soon as she opens up the laptop. she
Okay.
can Go to that. It's not just,
Okay, thank you, Tristan.
Thought he was coming out here to get me for doing something.
You never know. Before we start, Ms. Cobb, I just want to confirm, ma'am, you do not consent to being filmed, videotaped, recorded, or photographed, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Go ahead, Attorney Easter.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Will you please state your first and last name, spelling both for the court reporter?
Cynthia Cobb, CYNTHIA COBB.
Okay. And do you go by Cynthia or something else?
Cindy.
Just a little tired, sorry. I would like for the jury to get to know you, so I'm going to ask you some background questions. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. Do you live in this area, the Summit County area?
No, Wayne County.
Okay. Where do you live exactly?
In Rittman,
Okay. And who do you live with?
my husband Jay.
How long have you been married to your husband, Jay?
Going on 46 years.
Congratulations. And the house that you live in with Jay, how long have you lived in that house?
Since 89.
Did you grow up in this area?
I was born in Barberton.
Okay. Now, since 89, you would have been married then. Where did you and your husband live prior to that?
Texas and Oklahoma, he was in the service.
Oh, what branch was he in?
Army.
Okay. So when he was stationed or moved because of the Army, you relocated?
Yes, we were high school sweethearts. So when he was stationed in Texas, I moved to Texas.
Okay. Did he grow up here as well?
Yes,
You all go to the same high school?
yes.
All right. Okay. How long did you all live in Texas?
Couple of years.
Okay. And where was that in Texas?
Parker Heights.
Okay. I'm only familiar with the Dallas Cowboys and
It was
where Arlington, where they
Fort,
practice.
Fort Hood,
Okay.
Texas area.
And after you moved from Texas, where did you move to?
Enid, Oklahoma.
Okay. And how long did you live in Oklahoma?
Probably, I don't know, 6, 8 years.
Okay. Now, during this time, do you have any children?
1,
Okay. And what's your child's name?
Chad Cobb.
And that was the Chad Cobb that testified earlier in this trial?
Yes.
Okay. Where was he born?
Enid, Oklahoma.
Okay. And you all lived there for the first part of his life?
Yeah, till probably halfway through kindergarten, I think.
Okay. And then that's when you all moved up here to Wayne County?
Yes,
And since moving up here to Wayne County, have you stayed or lived in the same house?
yes,
Okay. So Chad, growing up, would have only lived in that house. Is that a fair statement? That's the family home to him?
I'm sorry?
Chad would have only lived in that house when he lived with you all growing up?
Yes,
Um, we have heard the name, the Tallmans from 731 Rex Lake Road. Are those your parents or your husband's parents?
that would be my mom
Oh,
and her husband.
okay. All right. I would like to talk about Chad growing up. Um, did he go to what high school did he go to?
Chippewa,
Okay. Did he play any sports or things of that nature?
no,
Was he in the martial arts?
yes.
Is that something that you paid for, or was it through the school system?
No, we paid for.
And how long did he do that?
A couple of years.
After Chad graduated high school, what happened? Where did he go?
He enlisted into the Marines.
How long did he stay in the Marines?
He graduated boot camp and then got out after boot camp.
Once he got out of boot camp, did he come back and stay with you and your husband?
Yes,
Can you tell me about that time period when he was staying with you? Did he work?
he worked, he had a couple of different jobs, auto body, chimney sweep, worked at a lumber yard. And then I think he started in cable.
Okay. And your house, how many bedrooms does your house have? Can you
Two.
describe? Okay. And so it would have been one Chad's room growing up, and then you and your husband's room.
Correct.
And what type of house do you have?
I guess you'd consider it a ranch. It's just like a little old farmhouse.
And what type of area is that you live in?
Rural.
You said he worked at a couple jobs, chimney sweep, things of that nature. Then he started his own company.
Yes.
Was he still living with you when he started his company?
No.
What type of company did Chad start?
Cable.
Can you tell me about that? Were you or your husband integral in the startup of his business?
No.
Okay, no financial support or anything?
No.
Okay, so he did this all on his own.
Correct.
Was he a hard worker?
Yes.
Okay. And you said he was not living with you when he started his company, correct?
Correct.
Do you know where Chad was living?
I think up in Akron,
Okay.
Maplедale, I believe.
Okay. And we're moving ahead rather quickly. During this time frame, and if I skipped over something, please let me know. Are you aware if Chad was dating anyone?
Ashley.
Ashley?
Yes.
Okay. Is that one of the first girlfriends that you met that Chad was dating?
No.
Okay, there were others prior to Ashley.
There was a couple, yes.
Okay. Let's talk about Ashley for a moment. Well, let's talk about still Chad growing up. Did you know any of his friends growing up?
A couple.
Okay. Does the name Mike Stefanko?
Yes, he lives across the lane from us, or did.
Did he live there with his family?
Correct. Yes.
Tell me your relationship with the Stefanko family.
Neighbors?
Okay. Did you all interact, do anything together?
No.
Okay. How about Mike and Chad? Tell me about that.
They hung around together.
Okay. Did one ever spend the night over the other's house, go on trips or vacations together?
I don't know if they went on any trips together, and I don't remember if they spent the night at each other. I don't remember.
Okay. Do you know if they were good friends growing up?
I would say they were good friends, yes.
Okay. And approximately how long did the Stefankos live across the street? Or do they still live there?
They still live there, and they was there before we moved in.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, do you know if Chad and Mike are about the same age?
I think Mike's a little younger.
Do you remember, did he have a friend by the name of Ben
Yes.
Brinkman?
Yes.
Will you please tell the jury about Ben Brinkman?
Ben and Chad went to school. That was another place that Chad had also worked as Polypack. So they both worked at the same place there. I believe they went to the same churches.
Okay. Um, you knew Ben worked at Polypack?
Yes, he still does, I believe.
Oh, does he?
Mhm.
Okay. How would you consider Chad and Ben's relationship?
Close,
So they were close as well?
yes.
Okay. Okay, now let's go back to Ashley. Chad meets Ashley. Do you remember approximately when they met?
I would say 2004.
Did he ever bring her around the house? Did he introduce Ashley to family?
Yeah,
Okay, so you got to meet Ashley?
yes.
Okay. From meeting Ashley, what were your impressions of Ashley?
Just a good kid.
And from them meeting, did they develop into a relationship? Did they end up having a relationship?
Yes.
Do you know if Chad and Ashley ever lived together?
Yes, they did.
Do you know where they lived together?
She lived with him when they lived up on Mapledale.
Approximately how long had they been dating prior to her moving in?
I don't remember.
That's fine. And at some point in time, did Ashley and Chad have a child?
Yes,
What's the name of that child?
Grace.
Okay. And Grace was the individual who testified earlier today.
Yes.
Do you know when they had Grace?
July 18th, 05.
Okay. During the time that Chad was dating Ashley, did you have a chance to meet Ashley's family?
I think we might have met Kim once or twice,
Okay. So
but just Kim.
okay. Did you all do anything as a family unit after Grace was born?
No.
Okay. Can you talk about Chad and Ashley's relationship after Grace was born, from what you observed?
I mean, it was good because Ashley and Chad actually moved in with us
Okay.
Before she had Grace.
Okay, so they lived with you for a while
While
when
she was pregnant. And that in about a week, I think, before she had Grace, then they had moved out.
Do you know why they moved in with you?
I think the electric got cut off where they were living because they was residing with Kim. I think Kim and Ashley and Chad were all living together. And I think the electric or something got shut off. So he asked if they could stay with us for a little bit.
And did Chad have Cobb Cable Company at that time? To the best of your knowledge.
I think he just worked for a cable company.
Okay. Okay, so when they came to stay with you, they stayed in Chad's old room?
Yes.
And you said they stayed maybe for a month or so after Grace was born?
Yeah. No, they was out the
Oh.
week before she was
Oh, a
born.
week before.
They was probably there for a few months before she was born.
Okay, well, how was it during that time span when they lived with you and your husband?
I mean, it was fine. It's a small house, so it's a little cramped, but they had their jobs. We had our jobs.
Okay. Are you employed?
Yes.
Where are you employed?
Where?
Correct.
In Worcester. I'm a vet tech.
Okay, and how long have you been employed there?
This particular place, almost a year.
And prior to that?
Doylestown for 25 years.
Now, Grace had testified earlier, she worked with you. Is that the vet tech place in Doylestown? She had worked
Yes.
with you?
Yes.
Is your husband employed?
Yes.
What does he do for a living?
He's a truck driver.
Okay. Is that Mitco?
No, that company no longer exists.
Oh, okay. Back in 2012, did he work for Mitco?
Yes.
And what did he do for Mitco back then?
A little bit of everything. Truck driver, truck mechanic, supervisor.
What was Mitco? What kind of company was that?
Trucking.
Okay. Okay. All right. So Ashley and Chad moved out a week before Grace was born. Where did they move to?
Mapledale.
Mapledale.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I might have been a little mixed up where they live.
That's fine. And that's Mapledale here in Akron or in Wayne County?
In Akron.
Okay. Now, after Grace was born, will you tell me about your relationship with Grace?
I mean, they would visit. Chad would drive by, quite often. She spent more time with great grandma than with us. We were involved with showing horses and traveled a lot.
Oh, okay. At that time, you said showing horses. Did you have your own horses or
We had our own horses
where did you keep them?
on our property in the barn.
Okay. But for you being on the road a lot, showing horses, you would have liked to have seen Grace more?
Yes,
Okay. But you said they were very close, or your parents got to see Grace a lot.
yeah, my mother, which would be Grace's great grandma.
Okay. So it wasn't a problem with Chad or Ashley bringing Grace to see you all or your parents at that time?
No,
Okay. How long after Grace was born did Chad and Ashley stay together?
I think they broke up in 2006.
In 2006?
Yeah, like maybe the fall.
Okay. And you said Grace was born July 18, 2005?
Mhm.
From what you observed of Chad and Ashley, did you notice any tension or anything going awry in their relationship?
No,
At some point in time, did Chad end up with Grace?
yes.
Do you know how, or can you tell the jury about that?
Ashley was getting ready to go into the service. And in March of '07, she turned full and complete custody over to Chad.
Was that through the court system or was that an agreement between her and Chad?
No, it was through the court system.
Okay. So prior to March of '07, they broke up in '06. Was Ashley there intermittently in and out, or was she gone?
I think intermittently, and that I think she would have some visitation.
Okay. When they broke up, do you know if they continued to live together?
I don't believe so. I think Ashley moved out when they broke up.
Did she take Grace?
No.
Okay, Grace stayed with Chad?
Yes.
Okay, and Chad was working at that time?
Yes.
Do you know about childcare for Grace at that time?
He used a daycare.
Oh, did he? Okay. Do you know of your mother, or did you ever try to help out from time to time?
I worked full-time too, so no.
How about your mother? Are you aware if she helped out?
I think she was working at that time too, full-time.
Okay. Now, when Ashley would come back intermittently, do you know, would she call? Would you have any contact with her?
No, I didn't have any contact with her.
Do you know if she would call Grace during that time or call Chad? Well, not Grace, Grace was small, but call Chad during that time?
It would be intermittently, I believe.
Okay. Okay. So now Ashley is gone and has given Chad, you said full custody in March of 2007?
Yes.
Okay. By that time, had Chad started his company?
I don't remember if it was his own company or if he was still working for a cable company.
Okay, that's fine. Now, at some point in time, after he was in a relationship with Ashley, did he move on and get in other relationships or date other individuals?
He might have dated one or so, and then he started dating Erica.
Okay. Are you aware if Chad has any other biological children besides the four that we're going to talk about? The three we're going to talk about,
Three.
FC, KC, and Grace?
There's supposed to be one other one, but there's not been any DNA testing, so I don't know.
And you said there's supposed to be one other one. How do you know that much?
From Chad.
Okay.
And at first, the girl had said that it wasn't Chad's.
Okay.
And then years down the road, she said it was.
Did you find out about it like when the baby was first born or?
No,
Okay.
no.
And would this child be older than Grace, younger than Grace?
Younger than Grace,
Okay.
a little bit. I don't know a whole lot, though.
Have you ever met the child?
No, I don't believe so.
Do you know if it's a boy or girl?
It's a girl.
Okay. Have you ever met the mother?
I think I've talked to the mom. I don't remember if I've met her in person.
Okay. All right. And you said Chad dated maybe one or two people. And then who did he end up dating?
For Erica.
Okay. At that time, was her name Erica Lyon?
Yes.
When Chad started dating Erica, were you given a chance to meet her? Did he bring her around family?
I mean, I don't know how long he was meeting her before he brought her over to meet us, but yeah, he brought her around.
Okay. Do you know where he was living when he started dating Erica?
I think Mapledale up in Akron.
Okay. Mapledale up in Akron.
Mhm.
At some point in time, did Chad move from Mapledale?
Yes, they moved over by Barberton Hospital,
Okay. And you say they, who are they?
Erica and Chad.
They started living together?
Yes,
Okay. Do you know how long they were dating before they moved in together?
I sure don't.
Okay. And after meeting Erica, and Erica Lyon, we may refer to her as Erica Stefanko, and we're going to be referring to her throughout the case. Do you see the individual in courtroom that you refer to as Erica Lyon, or I may refer to as Erica Stefanko?
Yes,
Will you please point to that individual and describe what she is wearing?
she's right here with a blue shirt and a cream sweater.
Your Honor, will you please let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant?
Yes, noted. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, you said they moved to the Barberton area.
Yes,
At that time in the relationship, had Chad had any more children?
no,
Okay. Now, are you aware at this time if Erica had any children herself?
she had a son,
Okay, do you know her son's name?
Alexander.
Okay. And in terms of age, how is Alexander's age in terms of Grace's age?
He's a few months older.
Okay, but basically the same age.
Yes,
Okay, so they would play together.
yes.
Okay. And the times you got to meet Erica in the beginning, what were your impressions of Erica?
Fine, nice girl.
Okay. At some point in time, did Chad and Erica get married?
Yes,
Are you aware if they had children at the time they got married or they got married prior to having children?
FC was born before they got married because FC was born in '09.
Okay.
And I believe they got married in the summer of 2010.
Okay. When FC was born, were they still staying in Barberton?
I don't know if they would have been at Barberton or if they would have moved to Rittman.
Okay. And Rittman is is that the Mount Eaton?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so I want to move forward to when they got married in 2010. Were you aware they were getting married?
I think We knew they had talked about getting married, but they didn't have a church wedding or anything. It was just, I think, a simple ceremony for them.
A simple front porch type ceremony?
If I remember correctly, I think that might have been what they said it was.
Now, we talked about FC being born in 2009. Do they have any other children together?
Yes, Casey.
Do you remember when Casey was born?
April 4th, 2012.
Okay. So now that would make 4 children in that household. Is that a fair statement?
Yes,
And they're living in the home on Mount Eaton.
yes,
And by this time, Chad would have the Cobb Cable Company.
yes.
Now, when FC and Casey were born, were you able to have contact with them?
Yes.
Okay, and how often would you see them?
Maybe every other week.
Who would be bringing them over, or how would you see them?
I mean, Chad would have the kids a lot of the time and stop by, like when we were doing chores.
Are you aware if the defendant worked at all?
I'm sorry.
Are you aware if the defendant was employed?
Erica did, I think, bookkeeping and stuff for Chad, as far as I know.
For the Cobb Cable Company?
Yes.
Okay. And after the children were born, from what you could see of their relationship, how was Chad and Erica's relationship?
Seemed like a happy family.
And how were they with their children?
Good.
Okay. Now I want to move forward just a little bit more. At some point in time, did Ashley come back in the picture?
In 2011.
2011. And that's the first time you realized Ashley came back in the picture?
Yes.
Okay. Tell the jury about Ashley first coming back from your recollection. How did you know, or what happened?
She had gotten temporary custody and went to the Catholic school and collected Grace after school.
Okay, so that date, October 5th, is that fair to say October 5th? Does that sound
Yes, I
familiar?
believe so.
So that October 5th, 2011 date will be the first time you're aware that Ashley is back in the picture?
Yes.
Okay, if there's phone calls, visits, anything prior to that, you're not aware, and that would have not been with you?
Correct.
Okay. Are you familiar with the name Brittany Dunson?
Yes.
Okay, how are you familiar with the name Brittany Dunson?
That was Ashley's girlfriend.
Okay. Prior to Ashley coming back, did you know Brittany Dunson?
No.
Okay. So you met her through everything that happened when Ashley came back?
Correct.
All right, thank you. Okay, so now we're at October 5th, 2011. Ashley goes up to the school you stated and picks up Grace from school.
Yes.
How were you made aware of that?
I believe Chad told us,
Okay. Who was us?
my husband and I.
What was your reaction when Chad told you what happened?
I got shock.
Do you know if, only if you know, if Chad received any mailings, or yourself, because he used to live with you, if Chad received any mailings at your house, his house, regarding any court proceedings that would give Ashley custody?
I didn't receive anything at my house. I don't know about his house.
Okay. And you didn't receive anything at your house about court hearings or court dates?
No.
So this was just, you said shock, a surprise.
Yes.
When Chad called you, what was his demeanor?
Upset.
And at that time, did you have any contact with the defendant?
That particular day?
Correct.
I don't believe so.
Okay. During that time frame, and when you said that particular day, I don't know, the next day or the day after, did you have any contact with her?
I don't remember. I mean, we might have spoke. I honestly don't remember.
Okay. Once you found out what happened, that Ashley came to pick up Grace, what was the next thing you remember happening that day? What did you do?
I don't remember.
Okay. Are you aware if your mother knew what happened?
I'm sure somebody called and told her.
Did anyone if you know, did anyone go over and check on Grace? Did anyone go over to Brittany Dunson, Ashley's house, or their family member's house?
On that day, no, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And when you say that day, do you remember any day anyone going over there?
I mean, I remember one day, it wasn't that day. I think it was my mom, my husband, me. I don't know if Erica was with us, but my mom and Jay talked to Brittany's mom.
Okay, well, let's start off there. Where did you all go?
It would have been, I guess, Brittany's parents' house.
Okay. And how did anyone know where Brittany's parents lived?
I don't remember.
Okay. And when you got over there, who went up to the house?
Just my mother and Jay,
Okay. And you stayed in the car?
to the best of my recollection, yes.
And to the best of your recollection, do you remember if the defendant was in the car or with you?
If she went with us, she stayed in the car too.
Okay. When you drove up, was anybody outside? Did you see anyone?
I mean, Brittany's mom might have been outside.
Was any conversation had outside?
Yeah, they did have a little bit of conversation.
Was it loud?
I think Brittany's mom might have been a little loud, just saying to leave.
Okay. And you said they were outside. Did the rest of it carry on into the house?
No, ma'am. It was in the driveway.
Oh, okay. So at no time did your mother or Jay go into the house?
No,
Okay. What was the purpose of going over there?
I guess just wanting to see if Grace was okay.
And how long do you think you all stayed over there?
Maybe 5-10 minutes tops.
Did you get to see Grace while you were over there?
No.
Do you even know if Grace was there?
I don't know. I know Brittany and Ashley showed up
Okay.
and I know, Ashley had made the comment, she never had any issues with my mom and that she'd always been nice in that. But needed to leave or the cops would be called if I remember correctly.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, ma'am. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, was asked to leave or told to leave or the cops would be called. So, we left.
Okay. When Brittany and Ashley showed up, was Grace with them then?
I don't remember.
Okay. And when you all were asked to leave or the police would show up, did you leave?
Yes.
Now, you went over there to make sure Grace was okay. How did Chad start to handle this situation?
Seeking legal advice to see what he could do.
Okay. So this is maybe the beginning of the court process or the court custody battle. That word's been used throughout this trial. Which
Yes.
is okay. Did Chad hire an attorney?
Yes, he did.
Were there court hearings?
Yes.
Were there multiple court hearings?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever accompany Chad to those court hearings?
We might have went to one or two. We met him there.
Okay. The court hearings you met Chad at, was the defendant there with him?
Maybe one time, yes.
Okay. One time of the one or two times you were there, she was there?
Yeah, I believe so.
Do you know if she accompanied him to court hearings?
I don't know if she accompanied him to all of them or not.
Okay. How about the times that you went? Did you see Ashley when you were there?
No.
Okay, so no time in the hallway or anything that you all run into each
Not
other?
that I remember,
Okay. And I'll just ask, did you see Brittany there when you were?
not that I remember.
Okay. Did you follow or were you involved in this court process, this custody?
No,
Okay. Did you ask Chad questions or anything of that nature?
I'm sure we did.
Just talk, you're his mother.
Yeah.
Okay. So you not seeing Ashley or Brittany, you would have no knowledge of the court hearings if they were civil or if they were not civil?
Correct.
Okay. Seeing your son and him going through this custody case or court process, um, how was this emotionally on Chad?
Upsetting, draining.
Only if you know, going through this court process, did it take a toll on his family life?
I believe so.
During this court process, did you interact with Ashley or what was your relationship with Ashley like?
We really didn't see each other. When there was some visitation, there was some times that the drop off or pickup spot would be our house. But the majority of the time, I think it was my mom's house.
Okay.
So, I mean, you might get a glimpse, but to really interact, no.
Okay. And were you privy to all the drop off and pickup locations?
I mean, as far as I know, it was just either our house or my mom's, and then, or the police station.
Okay. And you used the word visitation. Was that through the courts or is that something that both sides kind of agreed upon?
At that time, I think it was the courts.
Okay. Do you know how often the visitation was?
I don't remember.
Okay. At some point in time, did you learn that the defendant may have had some issues with Grace, or there were some issues with Grace?
Yes.
Okay. And approximately how old or when did you learn that? How old was Grace, not you? When did you learn that?
It wasn't until Grace was in counseling.
Okay. And what were the type of issues that you learned that may have been occurring in that household?
She was told to eat what Grace thought was dog poop and yogurt. Later on, Erica herself told me that it was not.
It's the,
Yes, sustained. We're not going to have you answer that. Go ahead.
may we have a sidebar?
Okay. Okay, that objection sustained. We'll move to your next question, please.
Okay. All right, we were talking about the court process and custody battle. Approximately how long did that go on?
Maybe 9, 10 months.
And Mrs. Cobb, I'm just going to have you speak up a little bit because I want to make sure all the jurors can hear your testimony. Thank you so much.
Maybe 9, 10 months.
That's much better. Thank you.
And it went on, did it go on until June 20th of 2012?
Yes,
Okay, and it ended when Ashley Biggs was murdered?
correct.
Okay. Now, I want to skip forward a little to June 20th of 2012, okay?
Okay.
And I just want to talk about what was going on that day with you first, okay? Did you see Chad that day?
No,
How about the defendant that day?
no.
Did you talk to Chad?
He called in the early after midnight sometime.
Okay. Prior to that night, did you talk to Chad during the daytime?
Like Monday, Sunday or Monday, they were getting ready to go to Disney World.
Okay. The day of the 20th, did you talk to him at all?
Just.
Before that night? I don't want to confuse you.
No,
Okay. How about the defendant? Did you see the defendant that day?
no,
Did you talk to her that
No.
day? And you said the last time you talked to Chad, you actually gave a day of the week. Was that a day or 2 days before the 20th?
yeah, maybe the 17th. It would have been Sunday or Monday of that week.
Will you please tell the jury how you found out something had happened that night?
Chad had called after midnight. Bad connection, cutting in and out. Didn't give any details, just said something wasn't good, I think.
What did you take that to mean at that time?
I had no idea.
Okay. How many times did he call you that night?
I think it was a couple. Like I said, either get disconnected, static. There was nothing there you couldn't hear.
And approximately what time were those calls coming in?
It was after midnight.
And I know you said the calls were static. Did he ask you to do anything or go anywhere?
Just to contact Mike.
Did he say why he needed to contact Mike?
No, he just wanted Mike to call him.
Okay. All right. What did you do after receiving those phone calls from Chad?
Went back to bed and went to sleep.
Okay. Because again, you didn't think anything of it at that time. Is that a
Right.
fair statement? Okay. When did you actually find out what happened or what was going on?
I don't remember how I found out. It was Friday. I don't know, remember if I found out while I was at work or if it was after work or Thursday, whatever day it happened, because they was at my mom's.
Okay. So you did find out, that would have been the 21st, they were at your mom's. You found out that day during the
Yes.
daytime?
Yes,
And you said you do not remember how you found out?
I do not.
What did you do once you found out?
I believe after we got off work, we went over to my mom's.
Who all was at your mom? Okay, I'm sorry. Who are we after we got off work?
BJ and I,
Okay. And you said you went over to your mom's, that's on Rex Lake Road, correct?
yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Who all was at your mom's house?
And my mom, Erica. The kids were there. I don't remember if Chad was still there or not.
Okay. And the kids, would that have been all 4 of the children?
Yes.
What did you do once you got to the house?
just, I mean, talked to my mom and that and seen where the kids were going to go.
Okay. Were there any plans made regarding the children or what happened to the children?
They all went into foster care. Grace went, I think, to Summit County, and the other kids went in Wayne County.
And when you say the other, would Alexander be included or was that just Casey and FC?
No, Alexander was included.
Oh, so all the children went into foster care?
Yes.
Okay. Did they stay in foster care?
Grace, I believed, spent one night in foster care and then she got released to Brittany.
Okay.
The other three, Alexander went to one foster parent and Casey and FC went to another foster parent together.
So Grace is with Brittany. How long did you ever get Grace for a time frame?
We did not see Grace until, I believe it was July 13th
Where was she until July 13th?
with Brittany.
What about FC and Casey?
Foster care.
Okay. And they stayed in foster care for a period of time?
Yes.
Okay. Did the Brinkmans ever have the children?
They did for a little bit of time. I don't remember how long they had them.
And did
I think they were helping with the foster people.
and are you aware of if Ashley's mother ever had Grace?
I wouldn't know.
Okay. And I said the Brinkmans, and that would be Ben Brinkman. Is he married to Mary Brinkman?
Yes.
Okay. During that time frame, were you trying to get the children or what was going on with anyone trying to get custody?
Visitation
Visitation?
and that, yes.
Okay. Was that for Grace, FC, and Casey or who?
Well, visitation for all of them. And then, yes, custody of Grace.
And why only custody of Grace?
We have a very small house and we just assumed that the kids would be going back to Erica.
Okay. And Grace was the only non-biological child of Erica
Correct.
in that household?
Correct.
Okay. And Erica was still out. Erica was not arrested at this time, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, after Chad was arrested, did he ever come home after that?
No.
And where is Chad currently?
Summit County Jail.
Okay. Is he serving prison time?
Yes.
Do you know where he's serving prison time at?
Richland.
Do you know what his sentence is?
Life without the possibility of parole.
What does that mean to you?
Life without the possibility of parole.
Will he ever be getting out?
I would hope so, but
Okay. But what?
he still has life without the possibility of parole.
Okay. And you said you would hope so. What efforts have you made to try to help Chad get out of prison?
Collecting paperwork.
Okay. How are you going about collecting that paperwork?
Public records. I mean, whatever I can get from the courts and that deal with the case.
Okay. Have you hired any attorneys or consulted with any attorneys?
I mean, we've consulted with some, because it's difficult to get paperwork into an inmate, but a family member hired him an attorney.
Okay. And you said you would hope he would come home. Is it fair to say are you here saying that Chad did not have any involvement in the death of Ashley Biggs?
No, it took two for the situation, I believe.
Okay, and you're acknowledging that Chad Cobb played a part in that situation?
Correct.
Okay. And who is the other person that played a part in that situation?
Erica.
Were you informed? Well, I'll get to that with the tape. So Chad is arrested. Are you aware when Chad was arrested, he was charged with multiple counts, including a death specification, death penalty count?
When he was arrested,
And charged?
I mean, when he was first arrested, I don't believe we knew what the charges were now.
At some point in time, did you come to realize he had a death specification?
Yes,
I want to talk about the plea agreement that Chad took. Are you aware of that plea agreement?
yes.
And were there court processes and conversations that took place prior to Chad taking that plea agreement?
Yes, I believe so.
Did you come to those court processes?
To the court hearings?
Yes.
No, we was not at his court hearings.
Okay, so you didn't
Last
come.
one, no.
Did you say the last one?
Yeah, his very last court hearing we was at.
Okay, when he got sentenced.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
but when he pled and all the other pre-trials and stuff, you did not come to?
No.
Okay. And I talked about conversations regarding the plea agreement. Did you take part on any of those conversations?
We might have met with his attorney a couple of times.
Okay. And was that attorney Beth Judge?
That was the custody attorney, yes.
Okay. Who was the attorney you may have met with a couple of times?
We met with Beth and Mr. Malarsick. I know we seen Mr. Malarsick once that I can remember.
Okay, and in those conversations, was the plea agreement discussed?
Was told that his trial needed to be finished by a year's anniversary date because the kids would go up for adoption.
Okay.
All
Now-
of the children.
Now, first of all, were you there when those conversations were had?
With one attorney, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And based on your understanding or impressions of those conversations with Chad, the attorney, and you, what was the plea agreement or the reason he pled based on?
Objection.
Basis. Yes, we can approach.
All right.
Okay, that objection was sustained. You're not going to answer that question. Attorney Easter's going to move on to another question.
All right. At the time of the plea, were the children, and you said at, let me just slow down and catch up with myself. At the time of the plea, were Chad's children still in foster care?
Grace was with us. I think the other three were still in foster care till like June of 2013.
Okay. And at the time of Chad's plea, were you aware, good Lord, were you aware that the investigation,
You need water? Go ahead.
okay, sorry about that. At the time of Chad's plea, or when Chad was in custody at the Summit County Jail, were you aware that the investigation into Ashley's death included the defendant as a suspect?
I don't think so.
Were you aware if there were any requests of Chad to cooperate against the defendant?
Say your question again.
Were you aware of any requests made of Chad to cooperate against the defendant?
Basis for the objection.
No idea.
Are you asking if
My question was
Chad was asked something?
I said, were you aware, were you aware if there were any requests made of Chad to cooperate against the defendant?
Would call for speculation into questions asked of Chad. So that's the.
I think she's asking about her personal awareness.
Correct.
So
Okay.
I'll overrule and hear the answer. Go ahead.
And she made,
I believe Detective Hitchings went to visit him at one time, so I would say yes.
do you know the date Chad pled guilty?
February 2013.
Okay, now during the pendency of Chad's case, did you continue to talk to the defendant or have a relationship with the defendant?
Yes,
Okay, and during that time, during some of that time, did KC and FC, were they placed back into the home of the defendant?
after June of 2013, I think it was that she got custody back.
Oh, okay, it was after, so that was after Chad would have been sentenced to prison. Is that a fair statement?
Yes,
Okay. Now, when you talked to the defendant, did you all talk about that night?
no, most of our dealings were, she had visitation at our place with KC, FC, and Alexander.
Okay,
Because if visitation took place, if we had them for the weekend, she got longer visitation with them.
okay. So you were getting visitation with KC and FC as well?
Yes, we would usually get them on the weekend.
And then, and you would invite Erica over to see them at that time?
Yes,
Oh, okay. And she would come over and the majority of that time would be spent with the children, visiting the children, playing with the children?
correct.
Okay. During that time, not that time, but the time Chad was in the Summit County Jail, at any given time, did you and the defendant talk about what happened that night? Did she make any statements to you regarding that night?
At one point, she did say she made the phone call.
Okay, and was that before Chad was sentenced or before he was pled or after?
I think it was in February when she first mentioned it. I don't know if it was, I don't remember the exact date.
Okay, and that was
his court
February of two,
was.
go ahead.
I don't remember what date his court date was that he pled.
Okay, and that would have been February of 2013?
Yes,
Okay, so you have this information. What did you do with it at that time?
I did nothing with it because I'm Chad's mom. There was just she and I there, and it's just Erica saying something to me.
What does that mean?
I mean, it would be her word against my word.
Oh, and you're his mom.
Well, yeah, I said I'm Chad's mom and it coming from me.
Did you think anyone would believe you?
No,
Because you're his mom, you're biased, you're his mom, you're supposed to.
correct.
Oh, okay, I get it, okay. So you had that information in 2013. Did you tell any law enforcement or anyone?
No,
Do you remember where you were when the statement was made?
no, I do not.
Was it just you and Erica at the time?
Yes,
Okay, so now we're coming up to Chad's sentencing. And when would that have been? I think you said he pled sometime in February of 2013. And so now we're coming up to his sentencing.
yes.
Do you remember when he was sentenced?
I think the beginning of March, maybe March 5th.
Okay. And that's the same year?
Yes,
Okay. And you said you attended his sentencing. Is that a fair statement?
yes.
When you attend, do you remember if the defendant attended that sentencing?
Yes.
During this time frame, were you in contact with Mike Stefanko?
No, I don't believe so. No.
Did you ever see Mike Stefanko come to any of the court proceedings or the court hearings or the sentencing?
I don't know about the other court hearings, but not the sentencing, no.
Okay. At that time, was Mike working for Chad?
Yes,
When Chad was sentenced, were you aware that the defendant was pregnant?
I think we found out afterwards. I didn't know at that time, I don't believe.
Okay. Are you aware of who the father of that child is?
At the time that she knew she was pregnant, no, I did not.
Okay. Are you aware now?
Yes,
And who's the father?
Mike Stefanko.
Do you know that child's name?
Lily.
And when was Lily born?
So I think she's is she under 18?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's just use initials.
That is
moving forward.
perfect. I
Okay,
apologize.
That's okay. Thank you.
LS,
LS, okay. And when was LS born?
October 2013.
Okay. After Chad, prior to Chad going to prison and getting arrested, did you used to visit him at his house?
Yes,
Okay. When you went over there, did you see your grandchildren, talk to Erica?
yes.
Okay. After Chad went to prison, have you been to his house since?
We would go there and pick up the kids. We were never invited into the house, but we would pick the kids up.
And that will be the outside handoff of the children?
Yes,
So after Chad went to jail, you've never been inside his house?
no,
Okay, Chad is sentenced and he goes to prison. Do you visit him in prison?
yes,
Okay. Did you take the children to visit him in prison?
yes, all three of them.
No,
Not-
Alexander.
Alexander, FC, and KC, not Grace.
Oh, Alexander, FC, and okay, why not Grace?
There was a no contact order issued between, on that no contact order was Erica and Chad with Grace, so they could not have contact with her.
Okay. And that's one of the reasons that Grace ended up being with you out of foster care?
I mean, we stepped forward and they asked us if we were interested in having custody of her, and we said yes.
Okay, so in the beginning, she could not have went back to Erica even if Erica wanted her to come back. Is that a fair statement?
Correct.
Okay. Was, where else would Grace have been? Were there any other members on the mother side coming forward?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Now, when Chad was in prison, did you write him or put money, send him money to put on his commissary?
Yes.
When you all went down there, was it a family affair? Did your parents go as well?
My mom has been to visit him, yes.
Okay. And how often would you all go down there to visit him in the beginning?
Well, it was up at Conneaut, so that's quite a drive. I don't know if we went every other week or once a month,
Oh, okay.
because it's like a 2.5 hour drive for us.
But he moved to a different facility. Is that a fair statement?
Correct, yes,
Is that the Richland facility?
yes.
And how close or far away is that from your house?
That's about an hour.
Do you visit more now that he's in Richland?
We're usually every other weekend.
Okay. And at some point in time, was the no contact lifted or was Grace able to go visit her father?
The no contact was lifted.
And when that happened, did you take Grace to visit her father as well?
Yes, all of the kids only went in November or December of 2017. Alexander didn't go, I don't believe. So KC, FC, and Grace. Chad got to see all three of them together one time in November or December of 2017. And then since then, he's only seen Grace.
Why is that?
Erica didn't let Faith and, KC and FC go
Okay.
any longer.
So at some point in time, Erica did get custody of Casey and FC?
Yeah, she got them back in June of, I think, 2013.
Okay. Did that become an issue with Chad and the defendant, the visitation of his children?
Yeah, sometimes.
How long, well, did Chad and Erica stay married after he went to prison?
Chad wanted a divorce, and I think that was in 2014.
You said Chad wanted a divorce. Did he initiate that process?
Yes.
At some point in time, that communication relations between the defendant and Chad, were they strained or tenuous?
I would say so, yes.
Okay, did you become like the intermediary person or the go-between?
A little bit to my dismay, yes.
Okay. And when you say to your dismay, why do you say that?
I don't want to be in the middle.
Okay, but you were put in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay. What were some of the things that you were put in the middle of, or how were you in the middle?
I'm just the kids. Because he would like to see his biological ones. And then when the divorce came about, then some of his possessions.
What are some of his possessions? What do you mean when the divorce came about?
Like his tools. And they wanted possessions of his tools. And
how were you put in the middle?
just 'cause I don't think they've actually talked to each other probably since 2014, maybe.
So you getting the tools that Chad wanted, was that something you would have to try to get from the defendant?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And visitation, if KC and FC couldn't go, is that something you would have to try to facilitate?
Well, I mean, they did go with us.
That one time, all of them?
Yeah, just the one time. I mean, other than that, I mean, they were going like every other weekend.
Okay.
When Grace wasn't going, the other two younger ones were.
All right. At some point in time, and Your Honor, I'm about to get into the recording. Do you want me to lay the foundation tomorrow when I play it or now?
Yeah, why don't we do that first thing?
Okay.
We'll lay the foundation. And then you can go into the recordings tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Is there anything else from either side before we finish for the day? We are going to start tomorrow at 8:30. I do want to talk to our jury. Thank you all again for your attention all day and for your timeliness. We appreciate your service so much. As you know, you're prohibited from doing any research, talking to anyone, reading anything, posting anything about the case, or having anyone talk to you about it. So we'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a good evening, and thank you so much. We will be providing lunch tomorrow, and if you don't want it, you can pack though, okay?
All rise.